everybody. This is an absolute honor, pleasure to have this kind of royalty here with this fan's view at Buffalo Wild Wings. This doesn't get any better than the gold jacket, Mr. Dick Vermeil.
Yes.
Coach Dick Vermeil. You know, I want to start the show with a Rams fan right in the front row.
See that nice color now and a little new emblem.
Oh yeah.
He's got some great stories, so hang with us. But I think that Kelly Green and all the Eagle fans are outweighing tonight. So welcome everybody. How about a big hand for Coach?
Thank you. Pleasure to be with you.
On a personal level, Lauren and I went out to camp when he was inducted, and unbelievable, just the whole situation, the whole weekend. And then Coach turns and says, "You're coming to my after party, right?" I was like, "I'm not saying no to that." So, Coach Vermeil, welcome to Glen Mills. I know you don't live too far from here.
About 20 miles.
Okay.
My GPS took me the goofiest way I've ever driven on here, but anyway, I got here.
You got here. That's all that counts.
A little bit of traffic is probably why it took you.
No, it wasn't bad.
No.
That just, I'm getting so I don't trust my GPS anymore.
Kind of like some players, right? All right. We'll go over a couple of ground rules. The biggest one is the raffle prizes. If you haven't gotten your free tickets, go back and see Kelly, Sue. Somebody's back there. Feel free to buy as many as you would like at $1 a piece. The money goes to our CCC charity. We're working this month with the Eagles Autism again. So they do great things and we support them 100%. So know that the money's being used wisely, and we appreciate everybody coming out tonight. So Coach got a sandwich and he's going to enjoy a little bit of it. And hope he doesn't get any sauce on the jacket. I don't think the wife would appreciate that.
She's mad at me all the time anyway, so I don't know the difference.
So even being a Hall of Famer, you still have your wife get mad at you too? So it's not just us?
We've been married 70 years. You find a lot of things to argue about.
That's true. I'm coming up on 29 years, so yeah.
How about a big hand for 70 years? Anybody in the room even close?
Don't credit me. Don't credit me. Believe me. It's my wife. She has great tolerance.
There you go.
Very cool. Very, very cool. All right. I guess we'll catch you in between bites, but we got some football to talk about. I know I'm old school. I like to go back to the Bill Murphy days, the Ron Jaworski days. But we'll keep it somewhat current for the time being. What did you think of the win on Sunday against the Rams?
Well, first off, any win is a good win.
You got it.
Exactly right.
Some are better looking wins than others, but that first half was scary. I don't ever remember being involved in an NFL football game where an offensive team, total offense was 32 yards.
And they get one passing.
In my high school team, they could have made 32 yards, but it was not there. That's all there was to it. They changed their approach in the second half. Good coaching. They came out, got after him. But that Ram football team they beat is a real contender.
Oh yeah, they're a good team for sure.
Yeah, their coach is still shaking his head, I think.
Yeah.
Because he thought he had that game won.
I was just gonna say he took the pedal off, the foot off the pedal there for a little bit, and let the Eagles back in there. And, those Georgia boys took advantage of it.
Well, those two big guys side by side, I don't know if there's ever been two great big guys that powerful and that talented line up that close together on one defensive football team. When they decide to go somewhere, they go.
Yeah.
They just go.
There's no
That's
stop.
what happened in blocking those field goals. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. And it was funny because just 4 years ago when they were in college and won the championship, it was like, it would have been nice just to get one of those two guys, you know, and then for the Eagles to be able to pull it off and be able to get both of them was just crazy. You know, and along with some of the other guys that they have on that defense.
Well, you have to credit Howie Roseman.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's done an amazing job. He really
Yes.
has. And even the other day, the third or fourth tackle ends up going over the right side and then playing well. They put the third guy in and he wasn't playing too well. They put another guy in that had been working on the other side and he plays well.
Exactly.
So there's depth on that football. That's why they won it all last year. That's why they won it all last year. And but they have a long ways to go right now to get back to that level.
Oh yeah, I mean you've experienced it, you know, winning the Super Bowl with the Rams, and then coming back that following year. How difficult is that? Getting the team motivated again after winning the championship, and then how all the obstacles where you have the bullseye on your back.
Well, first off, nowadays with free agency, you lose players.
Right.
They go somewhere. No matter how much they say they love their football team, they love to go make more money somewhere else. That's human nature. That's the American way.
Right.
So it's hard to maintain that. The second thing is, when you're at the top of the league in your division, when you go out of division to play, you play the other top teams in that division. And this Eagles schedule is as tough as it could ever be. Really, really a tough schedule. Hey, going to Tampa Bay, they're 3-0.
Yeah.
Okay. And Tampa's a tough football team. I watched them play some the other day. They're tough. But when you're good, then you also are a motivating force for your opponent.
Yeah.
Everybody says we'd like to beat the world champion. And the other thing that happens, you don't work in training camps like you used to. You can develop a certain level of discipline and tempo with which you practice that carries right over into the game. Today, the practices are much lighter, better for the health of the player in the long term down the road. But it's harder to keep at a consistent, really intense tempo for 17 weekends because the practices are so much lighter in tempo that it's an extreme change on Sunday when they line up and play full bore. It was I was listening coming over Sirius Radio, and they had a big conversation on it about the practices because of the level of play within the big people, big offensive linemen and all that kind of stuff, right, is way down from what it used to be. Most plays that break down don't break down by a bad call. They don't break down by poor design. They break down fundamentally. They break down fundamentally. And there's a lot of fundamentals in these early games that they're behind where they should be. Way behind where they used to be when you had double practices, full pads, both practices. My last at the Rams, the first 2 years at the Rams, we were rebuilding that team. We didn't take the pads off for 2 years except the day before the game.
Wow.
Now they could only during the season wear them 14 times the whole season. So it's a negative reflection on their skills in executing their techniques at an extreme, intense level. And it's just not as good. It'll get better. See, and the Eagles, what did they do? They didn't start out real good last year. How many games did they play last year they didn't score a touchdown in the first quarter? There's a number of them, wasn't it?
Yeah, they were 2-2 to start the season before the bye.
And all of a sudden they keep coming on.
Right.
So anyway, they're a good football team. They're a lot better than they were in the first quarter, and better than they were in the second quarter, and more like they were in the third and fourth quarter.
Yes. Now, how do you think that is good or bad for the league itself? Obviously, it's better for the health of the players. But.
Well, the game is exciting.
Yes.
The teams play more wide open offense now.
Mm-hmm.
There's more variations in defense and all that kind of. There's more mistakes made on defense because there's more variations of offense. So the games are exciting. Now, right now, the scoring is down for the most part. It always is because the defense is ahead of the offense. But the skill of the athlete. I'm wearing a Super Bowl ring from 1980. The biggest player on the team was Stan Walters at 275 pounds. Now he's too small to play at 275.
Right.
Now they're 310, 320, 330, and they run like they used to, 190 pounds.
Like a wide receiver. Exactly.
It's amazing.
I mean, Jordan Davis, 330 pounds, almost 20 miles an hour.
And they ran a 4.78 or something. My God. It's amazing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's crazy, for sure.
All right, we're gonna, we'll do the old, school kind of thing. You can raise your hand, we'll take any questions. All you gotta do is raise your hand, we'll get the mic to you. Lauren's in the room. If you've got questions for Coach, or you would just like to congratulate him on the gold jacket, congratulate him on a great career. It's beyond belief that a Southern California guy ends up in our backyard, and he's a true Philadelphian. This is another perfect example of what Philly brings to their fans and what the fans bring to Philly.
Right.
So it's just it's awesome. So I want to welcome everybody. If you guys got questions, fire them away at Coach, and I'm sure he's got an answer. He's got a lot of years in football.
I've got a question.
Go ahead.
Hi, Coach.
All right. Hello there, young man.
Congratulations
Thank you.
on all your accomplishments.
Thank you.
I still have a very good memory of the 1980 game against Dallas. I was there.
Think about that often.
One of the highlights of my life as a fan.
Thank you.
I have a question for you. I think I remember reading somewhere you were really on the fence about taking the Eagles job in the beginning, and George Brown had something to do.
Right.
Could you maybe just talk about that a little and how you came to say yes?
Well, I was at UCLA at that time, and I was in my second year, and we won on to the Rose Bowl. We ended up beating the #1 team in the country, and everything was going our way. And I felt if we stayed at UCLA as a staff, the kind of coaches I had working with me, that we could end up winning the national championship, because we just beat the best team in the country. So I was content to stay there. But Jimmy Murray, God bless him, had just passed away. He's a great salesman. And everything he's told me is true. Okay. And he said, Coach, you make a first down, they cheer. You drop the ball, they boo. I can't, there's ladies in this room where I can tell you what they called me my first year here when I walked out the tunnel after a loss. Oh my God. I said, what am I doing here?
Welcome to Philly.
Yeah. But it's amazing how they start respecting not so much the win-loss, but how hard you're working to win. And I think the community at that time identified with the effort, because we changed, talk about changing the culture, we changed how they work. And our training camps were tough, mean. We had 12 guys that were under contract in 1976 that 5 years later played in a Super Bowl. And we had no first, second, third round pick my first year, no first, second round pick my second year, and no first or second round pick my third year. So you can see these guys develop by working intensely on the practice field for a long time, over and over and over, and it all got better. Then the stars like Harold Carmichael, Bill Berkey, Frank LeMaster, these guys, we get lucky with Robert Montgomery, draft choice, Carl Harrison with 9th or 10th round draft choice. We were very, very, Charlie Johnson, all-pro nose guard, 8th round draft choice. Actually, we as an organization did a better job of drafting players when we didn't have a first or second or third round. We did a better job of evaluating those guys that weren't ranked as high in college. And we hit some home runs with some guys that played in the Pro Bowl many years. And so we were fortunate that way. But the other thing, the kids are different then. They came out of college different than they come out of college today. Now, hell, these college kids, some of them staying in college because they're making more money than they make as a rookie.
Right.
I don't know where that's going to stop. I really don't. It's not really good. I think we're coaching greed. And greed is not a virtue. And I can voice myself. I'm waiting for the multi-million-dollar quarterback to say, give me less, pay my line more so I can be better protected and play the game up to my level of talent. No one's done it. Brady did it some.
Brady did it a little bit, yeah. He's really the only one that really kind of did.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Dale. They all say how, oh, I love my team. They love their paycheck.
Right, exactly.
All right, another question over here, Coach.
Coach, congratulations on your.
Thank you.
First time I've ever seen the yellow jacket.
Yeah, I don't wear it very often. Thank you.
Question is, what do you think about the tush question?
You know, I don't like to play, but I would not have voted against it. I don't think it's a good idea to vote against innovation. Okay? I don't like to play. The other thing you got to realize, when you're in that formation, you give up the opportunity to make a big play. I can't tell you how many times we won football games when we made a big play in a surprise situation. When you're not a real good football team, sometimes the best plays you make, big ones, are when it's not expected. 4th and inches, 3rd and inches, and you go for something, a big, strong play action pass. I don't know how many remember the first time we beat Dallas. It took us 4 years, a Monday night game in Dallas in 1979. A big play on short yards twice. A 4th down play on went for the bomb, and Harold Carmichael caught him for a touchdown. Push eliminates that kind of opportunity. It defines what you're going to do. And I think that's probably the only negative. I was a little concerned about all players having their head down like that.
Yeah.
But so far, there hasn't really been serious injuries or anything like that within the formation.
All right, you got another one?
Hey, Coach.
Hi there.
First off, I just wanted to say to you, thank you for bringing winning football back to the field.
Thank you.
We've watched, I'm sure most people in the room have watched many with their families and sitting with my dad, my brother, my mom occasionally. Dad's always talking about Concrete Charlie. And I'm 12 years old, I don't know who Concrete Charlie was.
Well, I can tell you a couple. I'll tell you a couple real good stories on Concrete Charlie if you want to hear them.
My question was, watching that 80 team, we probably figured out who the global leaders are. I think Bill Barty, Ron Jaworski. Who were some of the quiet leaders that just came to practice every day, practice like it is game day?
Well, Winnie Peoples, right guard, he was supposedly done in San Francisco. We did, there was no free agency in the old days. So you got someone that retired, you get some more time out of him, or someone that wasn't good enough to make a roster, and you brought him to your place. Woody Peoples really made a big difference for us, playing right guard. Getting going. Jerry Sizemore was a first-round pick before I got here, but he was a fine football player, never said much. But he didn't have to, because his example of how he worked, how he prepared, and how he played, he didn't have to say anything. All he had to do was watch him. That kind of person is infectious to an entire football team. You talk about Bill Berge, he was a superstar when I came here. Remember, they gave up two first-round picks to get him?
Yep.
And a lot of times, superstars get a superstar frame of mind. And they think they don't have to work like the other guys are getting paid more. They're getting all the events at night, getting paid more. No one else will get. Bill Berge went to work. He went to work. And I can tell you a real good story on that. It'll take me 1 second. Our first training camp together in Widener, we filmed everything. Now it's video, tape, electronic. We filmed everything, and we had what we call a drill 9-on-7. It's all runs, no secondary. It's all running plays, full speed. And one day, Bill did not realize it was being filmed. It was about the 3rd day of double days. They were really getting after it. And Bill was absolutely terrible. So I called him in at lunchtime. I put the film on and showed it to him. I said, Bill, I'm going to cut in probably 2 weeks that guard that's kicking your ass. And you know what he's going to say to me? I beat the shit out of Bill Berge. Bill Berge was so embarrassed. He never had a bad practice after that. And it startled him. I have been with him at a banquet and heard him tell that exact story. I miss him. You know, he only lives a blocks from here.
Oh, yeah.
We're having dinner with Mickey next Thursday night. So
Yeah, Bubba's been out. We've had him. He was
Oh, yeah.
great.
Oh, yeah.
He was great.
All right, we got another question back here.
Right over here. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing well, thank you. I'm very
I have to
fortunate.
say, seeing you make the Hall of Fame was a huge thrill.
Thank you.
And long overdue.
Well, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Now, my question, I'm inspired by the gentleman in front of me wearing the Vince Papale jersey. I'm a longtime fan of his. I went to the same high school, grew up in the same town as well. And I always wondered when it came to the movie, Invincible, what did you really think of Brett Kinney and what he did for him?
Well, you know, there's a lot of things in the Invincible movie that are not true. And when I read the script, I said, this is like 2002. I read the script. Actually, I read the script flying to play an away game from Kansas City. And I was supposed to call the producer director from Disney after I read it. And I read it, I got it, finished reading it. I called him up when I got home. I said, you know, sir, there's a lot of things in this script that are absolutely not true. And he said, well, Coach, you got to realize we're not doing a documentary on Vince Papale. We're telling a story. And they exaggerated the story. Okay. And Vince did not make any money on the movie. He got $150,000 by the time he played his agent and his lawyer. He got about $75,000 out of that movie. Where he's made his money is speaking, following that movie. He's made an outstanding living as a speaker because he's a great speaker and willing to work, and he's really good with people. And but the movie, I don't go anywhere, even today, that movie is not brought up. Kurt Warner's movie was more accurate to really his life in the game, and they actually used some of my actual conversations in the script with the main actor playing me, used my statements in communication with Kurt Warner in the movie. But it isn't as inspirational for the young people to watch and grandparents to give to their grandkids and that as Invincible. What quick story of that. I'm on vacation, believe it or not, for meals of French Day. We're visiting our family in the south of France. We're having lunch in Nice. And some guy in French English comes up and asks me about the Invincible movie. I could not believe it. How in the hell? But he saw it on an airplane. He saw it on an airplane. And they really don't play football in France. But it was amazing. Yeah. The people that made the movie, Disney, they're still making money on it.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Great question, Steve. Thank you.
All right,
John,
another one all the way up here.
where are we at? All the way in the back, Coach. Back in the kitchen.
Oh yeah, my buddy.
Hey, Coach, so,
He texts me. He sends me texts.
Nice.
it's true. We went to it on today. Anyway. My question is, why, so what, was the deciding factor behind the open tryouts for everybody? Like, and has that ever happened since? And why Papale? Why Papale of all people?
Well, first off, remember I said we didn't have any draft choices. And I like numbers in training camp. I like a lot about it. And because you always end up, when somebody gets banged up, you still have people to keep you moving. But Vince, here he is, an Italian kid from South Philly, and he was the fastest guy in timing in the 40. So that startled me right there. And we had some guys that couldn't run a lick, but we had some other guys that could run pretty good, and Vince was the fastest. And you could see his athleticism. Remember that when he played college football, they didn't have a college football team. He was a track man.
Right.
And you could see his track ability, his running ability, his hurdling ability. You could see it. He was a great ball vaulter. So you could see his athletic skills. And, I knew we were going to sign some people out of that. on purpose. We just wanted to draw attention to Philadelphia and someone making the team up free agency.
Right.
And it happened to be Vince. And then he really earned the right on the roster on the special teams. He did a great job. And I really think if he had played 4 years of college football and all that kind of stuff, he would have been able to play longer as a wide receiver because he could catch the ball. But, you know, he had to learn how to do it all.
Right, you can't learn in the
Yeah.
NFL.
A lot easier to learn cover the punt and cover the kickoff. Yeah. Good guy. Still a great guy. His 2 children just got married this year.
Yep.
All right, we got another question over here, right here.
Right in front.
And you have in the purple shirt.
This is from my brother, who's not here right now, but he's asking, I figured I'd ask him. He said he's had season tickets to the Eagles forever. But he's asking in the Super Bowl in New Orleans, what could you have done differently to beat the Raiders? He was there at that game.
What would I have done differently? Well, one of the mistakes I made, you probably don't remember this, but our starting flanker back, Charlie Smith, broke his jaw. We suited him up and counted him in the roster and let him take the first snap of the game, but he couldn't play the game. Then our third wide receiver, Steve Fitzke, the Penn State kid, he had a stress fracture playing in preseason, the playoffs prior to that game. So we were down to 1 starting receiver and a 4th string and a 5th string, and they were both college free agents. And a lot during the season, we used Wilbert split out and Perry Harrington's a fullback. And as soon as we did that, of course, we improved the wide receiver position. Wilbert was the leading receiver of the game, but we hurt our running game because we didn't have him back there. And we were basically a stronger running team than a passing team, and a pretty good combination. But I would do that differently. The other thing, Leonard Toast came to me when we beat Dallas and said, "You got 2 weeks to get prepared. I'd like you to give the team a night off, and I want to throw a party for everybody." When Leonard Toast throws a party for everybody, it's a party. Patti LaBelle was the guest singer, guest singer. And the Wednesday night after our championship game win, Leonard Toast put on a party you cannot believe, especially for those days. Well, it was almost as if we'd already won the Super Bowl. Hell, we had another game to play, but he had to celebrate. And I think that took a little edge off our focus. It's almost saying, we've already done it. No, we haven't already done it.
Right.
We just earned the right to do it. And I think that hurt us. And I made some mistakes. In fact, there were 2 interceptions in the game, 2 or 3. And 2 of them, I called the plays myself. I was my own offensive coordinator and quarterback coach who called the plays. I called the same thing twice. They intercepted it twice. If you were real bright, you wouldn't call it a second time. We put that Rod Martin, remember the linebacker, Rod Martin? I think he was the MVP in the game on defense because I called 2 plays, he intercepted them both, same play.
I had nightmares for a month after that.
That's the truth.
All right, we're gonna give Coach a little break here, catch his breath, nibble on his sandwich. We're gonna do a little trivia.
Yes.
We're gonna do a little trivia. You guys up for some trivia?
All right.
Here's the deal, again, it's old school, you gotta raise your hand.
No yells now.
The first person that Lauren recognizes, or maybe one of us recognizes, you'll get a shot at the question. I've got a few people, this table over here is struggling. This table over here is struggling.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I got this side, John.
All right, you got the left.
I got this side.
All right.
You got that
I
side.
got the right side. All right, we're good.
All right, here we go.
What year did Coach at UCLA win the Rose Bowl?
Wow, they are quick.
Yeah.
They are quick.
1976.
Right.
That is correct. That is correct.
All right, here's a rule, just so everybody knows. When you win once,
You're out.
you're out. All right, so it still leaves this table over here intact.
All right. As Coach mentioned earlier in the show, the team that he beat was the #1 team that year. Which team was it? Oh, Tom's got his hand up there.
Yeah, I think Tommy might have been first up.
I didn't even get the whole sentence out.
Yeah.
Would be the as usual overrated Ohio State Buckeyes.
That's why I had to mention it. Us Penn Staters had to rub it in with Ohio State.
Whenever you get a chance.
Exactly.
Happy Valley.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yep, got the white out this week. All right. Here's a tough one. Who made the game-winning tackle to win the Super Bowl 34?
Mike Jones.
Of course, the Rams guy would.
You know what? Not only does he look good, he's smart.
Exactly.
It's okay.
It's all right.
You can leave.
Yeah.
You can leave. We kicked your butts on Sunday. We're good.
That's
We'll
right.
see you in the playoffs.
All right. Which NFL team did Coach make his coaching debut with?
I'm not sure. The guy at the bar might have been pretty quick on that one.
The Eagles?
Come on, no. Coaching debut.
Who did you say? Who did you
Yeah,
say
the-
you are?
Yeah, the gentleman who raised his hand. Hopefully he's not using his phone. Oh, you were calling your wife. The phone
Los
answered.
Angeles Rams.
The Los Angeles Rams, that is correct.
1969.
1969.
1969 Rams.
That's right.
Anybody know the MVP of that team or that year? Very good. Roman Gabriel, yep. Hell of a player, right, Coach?
I'll tell you, Roman Gabriel was a great man too. I was a special team coach in 1969, and he was the MVP of the league. And then I come back. I left after 1 year to be the offensive coordinator at UCLA. Then they fired George Allen and bring my head coach at UCLA back to the Rams as head coach. So I go back there as offensive coordinator and coach Roman. And I've always admired him because I was a young coach and I really didn't have enough experience to do a good job coaching pass offense in pro football. And he never once bitched. He never once made a rude remark that you young punk, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Yeah, he would have been right if he said that. But I always admired him for the class he showed being coached by a young coach that wasn't really prepared.
And then he came to the Eagles.
Yeah, he was here when I came here.
Yep,
Yeah.
for sure. All right, another question.
Yeah, we got
John?
two more.
Two more.
Yep. Which year was Coach inducted into the Eagles Hall of Fame?
Oh, John, no arms.
No, I know. I stumped him on this one.
Johnny, no arms.
No?
How about the trouble table over here? Nothing? Nothing?
It wasn't on Wikipedia, so they weren't able to
Nothing?
know. That's right.
Here we go.
What, no,
2008.
that is incorrect. That was when the Phillies won the World Series. That was incorrect.
I got the O'Brien kid back here.
Okay, what do we got?
With the last name O'Brien, he's got to be smart.
Has to be.
Has to be.
Has to be.
Don't get shy now.
1992.
Oh, come on. You're holding on to the O'Brien name. Come on.
So close.
So-
So close.
You were close.
So close.
Troublemakers are in town.
I don't even know.
Guys, back when you're in about 1994.
That is correct. Good job. Mic drop.
And to answer the question, yes, we're trash talking. Absolutely. The kids aren't here, we'll trash talk.
Exactly. You'll be bringing your kids for defense every.
Another one? We got one left?
Yeah, we got one last one. What year was Coach inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame?
Whoa, this is so easy, it's crazy.
Well, it is, but
This is crazy, John.
2020.
oh, and Mike's Smith got it wrong.
2022.
That is correct. Speaking of missed twice, Mike Schmidt is going down.
You gotta go and find out for that.
Exactly. Phil's ready to smack you upside the back of the head there.
Coach, that has been one of our funnest rounds of trivia that
Oh,
we've
yeah.
had.
Absolutely.
Great questions, great answers. You guys brought your A game tonight, right?
Except for Mike Schmidt.
Except for one.
Well, I appreciate your knowledge. You know, a little while ago, I'd love to tell you a story on Chuck Van-Duren.
Yeah, let's do it.
When I came to Philadelphia in 1976, before I ever coached it down, at the old Marriott on City Line, there's a scholar athlete banquet, okay? And I'm sitting to the right of the podium, and about 4 seats down at the head table was Chuck Van-Duren. Now, I knew his name, I'd never met him, I knew about him, and he gets up and he speaks and he just rips the Eagles. He hates the Eagles, he hates the owner, Leonard Johnson. I mean, he just hates the Eagles. So I didn't feel real comfortable following him, but I did my job. When it was over, I went over to him and I said, Chuck, you don't know me and I don't know you, but I know you by reputation. And you're the only symbol of winning in Philadelphia in regard to football in the city. I'd like to have a meeting with you. He said, sure. I said, I'll meet you at Bookbinder next Tuesday night. We met at Bookbinder, drank a bottle of wine apiece. He sat there and talked and got him all fired. I said, Chuck, how would you like to be an honorary coach on weekends? Just come with me and stand beside me on the sideline as a symbol of a person that wore the Eagle uniform that won big games and knew how to play the game. He said, I'd love to do it. Paid him peanuts to do it. So we get going into the season, and, you know, we flew charter flights, okay? So we didn't go out of the normal terminal. And, you know, Chuck's a tough guy. You know, he flew like 27 missions over Germany in a B-17 as a tail gunner. The worst position there is in a B-17. But anyway, one day, they're starting to pull the ramp, the stairs up the airplane away, and Chuck's not there. He is not there. So I said, oh my God, he missed the plane. We're going to have to go. Because I always told players, if you miss a flight, you're going to have to pay your way to play in the game. So I said, hold it. And here he comes. He comes running out of the terminal. They roll the steps back up the plane. He walks up the steps, goes by me, sits down in the seat, and he's sort of all messed up. And so I go back, we're up in the air flight, and say, Chuck, what happened to you? Why were you late? He said, I got in a fight. I said, Chuck Bednarik, on Saturday morning, you got in a fight? He said, yeah. I said, tell me how you got in a fight. He said, I'm driving over here. When we come up to an intersection, I'm in one lane, and these kids in the other lane gave me a finger. He said, it pissed me off. So this is a true story now. He lets them pull out. He goes out, gets around them at the next stop sign, pulls in front of the car so they can't drive. Oh, tell me, there's 4 kids in this car, all big teenagers. So he gets out of his car, goes through the guy's windows down. He grabs the guy that gave him the finger, has pulled him through the window. The other 3 guys get out of the car and jumping. So now he's fighting 4 guys. And so all of a sudden, halfway through the fight, one guy says, oh my God, this is Chuck Bednarik, and the fight stopped. But he had bumps and scratches all over his shirt, you know, his shirt and tie. He was a mess. But that's why he was late on the play. But that also defines his personality. Don't fool him. Anyway, I really love the guy. His wife, Emma, at 101 years old, is still alive.
Yeah, very good. Hey, questions? Any more questions? Got one at the bar.
So Bernie Clark just passed away. I was just wondering if you're competitive in Philadelphia sports and you had anything, a nice purpose for your new him, or, just anything you could say about the passing of Bernie?
We take Jim Murray.
No, Bernie Braun.
Oh, Bernie, oh yeah. What a, what a piece. What a tremendous human being. Bernie Perron had the ability to make you, when you talk to him, the most important person he's ever talked to. Not because I was a coach, but it could be you there, it could be in the auto mechanic. When he talked to you, and he made you feel like you're the most important person I've ever visited with. He was a hunter. I like to hunt, deer hunting, elk hunting, all those kind of things. Bergie and I am a master. Used to hunt together all the time. And we always talked hunting, and he lived on a boat down at the shore. And he'd invited me down there a few times. I never did go. But I just think he was one of the class guys that I ever met that had a big name. And he knew how to make you feel good because you were excited to see him. Yeah. Great man.
Let's give it up for Bernie. Let's raise our glasses to Bernie Perron. Bernard Marcel Perron. Rest in peace. Good man. Loved him to death.
And you always had a pretty woman with him too. Yeah.
Yeah, he did. He married one. Yeah, he did. All right, another segment that we do here at This Fan's View. Lauren has her own set of questions. I'm sure a few of them might be wine related.
One definitely is.
She loves your wine, Coach.
Oh, great.
It's so good. All right, what was the coolest thing from your Hall of Fame induction weekend? Do you pick one thing as the coolest?
The coolest thing from my Hall of Fame induction thing, one was the standing ovation all my players gave my wife. Because, we would bring our players to our house and feed them in the off season. And, when you start out in high school coaching, you did that. Players like that. I was in junior college coaching. We did that. Players liked it. I did it at UCLA. Players liked it. I just kept doing it. And the other thing about that Hall of Fame in regard to that, it became not so much a celebration of me going in the Hall of Fame. It was a reunion of each team. We had 3 teams there: the Eagles, Rams, and Chiefs. The Rams starting offense and defense 100% complete. So I had 22 starters. And I have had many people tell me that's never happened before. Never happened before. But we had Eagle players, Ram players, Kansas City Chief players, and it became a reunion for all those guys. We had over 400 and some people at our party.
Yeah, you did.
And
It
was really fun.
Speaking of wine, what's your favorite kind?
My favorite wine is a Cabernet, okay? And I'm not a wine expert. I don't make the wine. I grew up with my grandfather Vermeil. He made all our family wines. And I grew up as a kid helping him make it. And I've always had the interest in it. And in the Vermeil family, my dad's French-Italian, okay? So you always had wine on the table. It was always part of the family meal. Every night, 7 nights a week. There was many times discussions about the wine. And when you grow up in that atmosphere, it positively influences your thinking about alcohol as well. What you didn't think about drinking a lot of wine and get drunk, so to speak, because it was part of your meal. And my hobby with wine was developed through some friends. I grew up in Calistoga. I just got back from almost a month out there last week. And I said to a good friend that had a little winery in his basement of his home. He worked full-time for Mondavi, but he had his own little winery in the basement of his home. I said, I'd like to make a bottle of Cabernet with my great-grandfather, Jean-Louis Vermeil, and my dad, Jean-Louis Vermeil, name on the label. It's just 100 cases, 150 cases. He said, I'll do it. I won't cost you a dime. Instead of putting his own label, which was on the edge, he put Jean-Louis Vermeil Cabernet. Well, the first release was about 150 cases. I had no money involved in it. It was a hobby. It was a year we won the Super Bowl with the Rams, 1999.
Wow.
So he markets John Louis Vermeil Cabernet. He sold it all right away. And he said, it takes me 3 or 4 years to sell my 100 cases of his own wine. So he said, well, let's keep doing it. So we kept doing it. And then my good friends in Vineland, New Jersey, very close friends, they made a lot of money as entrepreneurs. They said, let's take your hobby and turn it into a wine business. I said, guys, you want to do it, fine. I'm not excited about it, but you want to do it, we'll do it. So in 2008, it became a Vermeil wine business. And I really worked at it. It's not a good business, okay? It's not a good, we have never made a dime. We have paid all our bills. Every dollar has allowed us to pay all our bills, never be in debt, but no partner has gotten a nickel out of it. We drink wine out of it. That's one advantage. What you can't sell, you can drink.
You can drink, exactly. You can't
Right now, the whole wine industry in the United States is depressed, more so than it's been in 50 years. The grapes on the vine, there's going to be a lot of grapes on the vines in Napa and Sonoma counties left on the vine. The wineries won't take them because there's not a demand for all these things, these kind of things, and these little cans and all that stuff. Kids, 18 to 28-year-old kids are drinking that stuff. Older people are not drinking as much, and the whole industry is down.
Do you have a piece of memorabilia in your collection that is your most prized piece?
The most recent one, because I can remember what it is, was a note from Bill Belichick congratulating me on going in the handwritten note of going into the Hall of Fame. That really touched me because I think he's the best ever. Okay, and for him to send that note personally and say you deserve it, congratulations. That really, really touched me. From one coach at his caliber to me, it touched me. Yeah.
Who was your favorite player to coach?
Oh, gee. You know, that's the way I coach my teams. We treated everybody as if they were all pro. We had some guys that didn't play as much as other guys because they weren't as good, but we treated all of them as all pros. And some of my favorite players didn't play very much at all. Okay, I got a text message today from David Clemick. I don't know if you guys, he has a fitness center down the shore. Okay, he's doing extremely well. One of my favorite kids I ever coached. But you know, the Carmichaels, I see number 17. They don't make them like him anymore. You know, not just because he's tall, the depth of his personality. And Wilbert Montgomery, Ron Jaworski, Terry Sizemore, Franklin Master, those guys, Trent Green, who was my quarterback for 5 years in the Chiefs, the guy I bought to the Rams as a free agent that tore up a knee and Kurt Warner took over. Those guys, they're more than players to me. They're family.
Yeah.
Who was the toughest coach to coach against?
Tom Landry. Oh, he made me nervous. That's a true story. You know, when you're in high school coaching and you watch games on Sunday and there's Tom Landry, there's Don Shula, and there's Bud Grant, you never picture yourself across the field from them. I never ever thought that would happen. I remember we played Dallas early my first year here, and he's across the thing. I was afraid to get over close to him. I mean, it made me nervous to be on the field with a man of that stature. You know, he too was a co-pilot or pilot of a B-17 all through that Second World War. Great man.
Who on the current Eagles roster would you like to have the opportunity to coach?
Oh boy, there's so many good ones. Of course, your running back not too bad. I tell you, if I took one guy, I would love to coach that left tackle. That great big guy, Mailata. I've never seen a guy that big, as mobile, and never played football. Yeah, I mean, you could make him a road grader. You know, you really could. It's a different style of offensive line play, but he's amazing.
What was your favorite stadium from your coaching days?
Favorite?
Stadium.
I had some I hated.
Okay.
I don't know if I had one that was favorite.
Which ones did you hate?
My favorite stadium, you know, I used to like to go into old, Washington Redskins, JFK, that old stadium. There's history, and that was fun. And the other one, I actually got to coach as an assistant in old Franklin Field. In 1969, we were the Rams. I was coaching for George Allen. We came in and played the Philadelphia Eagles in old Franklin Field. I remember like yesterday, and it hadn't changed much.
No.
All right, and the last one. How many hot dogs do you think you can eat in one sitting?
Me, you know, I like hot dogs, but I don't know. I wouldn't guess. I don't have a guess, but I like to eat. Okay, I have to really discipline myself not to overeat. I can eat when I'm full because it tastes good. Okay, that's a bad habit.
All right.
I got a text message today from John Bumpton to tell you hello.
I talked to him today.
You were on his mind. He wants to know how come I've never invited him up to the show.
Because he lives so far away.
Right? Exactly.
Well, he just forgot about it.
Yeah. That's a story for another day.
John spends half the year up in Maine, and then the other half in Carolina.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, he does.
You know, he was my defensive coordinator on my Super Bowl team.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
And you know, Lauren asked you one of your prized memorabilia items. Well, John presented me with a copy of the plates from that Super Bowl. Yeah. So I thought that was pretty
Oh,
cool.
you bet.
Yeah, go
I
over
should have
X's,
burned them.
go over the X's and O's, absolutely. So, we killed an hour almost, guys.
Yeah.
You guys are wonderful. What a great audience, great bunch of people. Questions, comments for the coach? This Ram guy gotta go with that team. Gotta go. Just kidding. Love having you. Love having you.
And there's I have a number one from Philly, became a Rams fan in the '70s with John Capoletti.
Okay, you bet.
So that's my history with becoming a Rams fan and my hatred for the Cowboys in the late '70s. And one, it was special when they won in '99 the Rams because everybody busted my stones from the '80s. They were losing this franchise of the '90s, and they come in '99 and win. And my dad, I got to celebrate that. He's an Eagles fan, and they love too.
Okay.
So I had everybody. And in fact, my uncle, you know, it's Tony Marino, who's the UPS driver.
Yeah.
So my question kind of is, one, he did piss me off when we left the Rams, and then Mark fired for money, and that blew up that whole team for a little bit. It's actually been a dynasty.
That was a mistake. He made a mistake.
Yes.
He has told me that.
Yeah. Now, before they hired Andy Reid, you were in tight negotiations to become the Eagles coach. How close was that? What happened there that you didn't come back to the Eagles back then?
Well, the main reason, when I met with him in New York, Jeffrey, nice man, and his lawyers and all that stuff, I had been out of coaching at that time 12 years. And I'm talking to Jeffrey and his support staff, and none of them had been in the NFL. And I figured, my God, if I get involved in this, I've been out 12 years. I need more support from the top down. And I didn't feel secure enough that I could do it without top class help with experience. When I went to the Rams 2 years later, the president had been president for a long time, the GM had been in it a long time, everything was intact. So they could cover up all the things I had to learn within that first year again, you know.
Thankfully, the Eagles got me that fire back.
Yeah. Well, that, you know, it also rejuvenated my desire to try it again.
Right.
Yeah.
Great. We got another question over here.
All right, before we jump on that, Johnny, I know you probably got one buried there, so we'll get to you next.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
Do you have any kind of relationship with Nick Sirianni? And wins aside, what do you feel about his personality?
You know, he's different. How he does things, but the difference is good sometimes. The only way to evaluate a coach today is win-loss record. That's how it is. And John Wooden, when I left UCLA, John Wooden told me this. He says, Coach, you're going in the NFL. He said that, the best coach teams in the NFL don't always win. He said that there's no bad coaches. The best teams that win in the NFL have the best players, and they're well coached. He says, in college, he said many times, a great coach can make up the difference between average or so good average and beat teams superior talent. But he said the NFL is very, very difficult. And I think the Eagle organization is depth in winning. Everything they do is quality process to win. And Nick does a great job of putting it together. That he does things different than I would do, definitely. But that doesn't make me right and him wrong. He's already won. A lot of big games, including that Super Bowl,
Right.
So you got to give him credit for that. And I don't have a big relationship with him. I see him once a year at a dinner. Howie Roseman puts on a dinner for the owner and his wife, my wife and I, Jay Wright and his wife, Jaworski and his wife, and Nick Sirianni and his wife. There's 12 of us. We do it every year in June, and that's the time I'm around Nick. I went to one practice here. This year I didn't see Nick. So, it's not the kind of thing where you're on the phone talking to him or anything like that. But I respect him. He's doing a good job. I would do it differently. I just have a different approach. That's all.
What would you do next?
Well, I wouldn't be as concerned about making them happy as I would make them better. You got to piss somebody off once in a while, okay?
There you go. There you go. There's the fire you were looking for.
Yes. Now
Johnny, what do you got?
Now, you had talked a little bit about the tush push not having a possibility for an explosive play, but me being a novice coach, looking at games, I would thought at some point the Eagles would have tried the tush push and then thrown it to either AJ.
Well, they have done it a couple
They've
times.
done
They've
it
done it a couple of times, but when you're so bunched up like that, it's hard to be explosive.
Right.
It's easy to be powerful, but it's hard to be explosive.
So yeah, it doesn't lead to it, is what you're saying. So yeah, it was interesting. That's what I was wondering. And like you were saying with the Eagles, this Eagles team is talent. It's probably talent-wise, it's probably the best in the NFL.
Yeah, right now. They may not be quite what they were last year, but you're talking about push. I think the running back is pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
I would rather put the ball in his hands and make first downs, okay, rather than the quarterback. That's right.
Yeah, no, exactly. Having said it, Carl and I had talked about it a bunch, and we've said it at the show. Do you think last year's Eagles Super Bowl team was probably the best in the NFL ever? And
I would say,
and it's just for that 1 year. Because obviously the Steelers, had success for the 70s with the Steel Curtain and stuff, but
I would say that football team last year was the best the Eagles have ever had.
right.
And it's got to be in the top 5 all-time ever NFL football team.
Right. Yeah, especially, the other
The
teams.
Pittsburgh Steelers,
Right.
when they were on Bill Walsh's team, those teams, Bill Walsh's teams weren't as physical, but they were really skilled
Right.
and extremely well coached, and a short period of time ahead of everybody else. After a while, people started catching up with them, doing what they did.
Copy. Yeah.
All right. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as we did.
Thank you for being here. Thank you. Fun, always fun.
All of these folks, let's give it up. Come on.
Hey, let me tell you something about the Hall of Fame. Okay, guys? The truth about the Hall of Fame, especially as a coach, is you're a product of all those guys that played for you. That's what you are. If I didn't have the Carmichaels, the Jaworskis, the Bergies, the Masters, those kind of guys, if I didn't have Kurt Warner and Marshall Falk and Trent Green and all these guys, I wouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. I didn't make them great athletes. I helped put it together so they could demonstrate all the skills that they had as a unit. And without the assistant coaches, here, Marion Campbell, no one ever gives Marion Campbell in Philadelphia credit for how, at 1980, defensive team gave up 14.9 points a game. Their defenses don't do that today. But that's what he did. He was a great, great football coach. Without him, I'm not in the Hall of Fame. Without Mike Marks at the Rams, I'm not in the Hall of Fame. So I keep it in proper perspective. Okay?
He's very humble, Dick Vermeer.
Yeah.
He was a great coach, high school, college, the pros. I mean, you've done it all, Coach.
Thank you.
You've done it all.
Thank you.
You've done it all, including this fan's view.
That's right. I have one other question. It was classic when watching the NFL films of the Super Bowl and that last drive as Tennessee's going down to try to score in the game. I forget the defensive lineman.
Kevin Carter.
Yeah, coming off the field and you yelling at him or asking him the question.
25 seconds left in the Super Bowl. You're coming out of the freaking game. You know what happened though? Tennessee called timeout. So he got his rest and went right back in. What I didn't know is DeMarco Farr, my defensive left tackle, was right behind him. I didn't see him. But Tennessee was beating the hell out of us.
Yeah, well, no, it was just a classic when you listened to the video and you were mic'd up or they had the sound and
they didn't hear everything I said.
Are you serious? Yeah, exactly.
One last thing, Coach was telling me he's enjoying the Dallas Cowboys documentary.
Yeah, have you started watching that on Netflix? It's called America's Team. It's the best. I've seen 4 episodes of the 8 so far. It's the best from a football standpoint thing I've ever seen in regard to the NFL. It's really good. But if you watch it closely, you'll see the difference in how the game was played.
Right.
It was all played lower, faster, tougher, and harder. Now, if you hit people like that, you see some of these shots in that film, they get thrown out of the game or it's personal foul. It's amazing. But it's an outstanding. I can't wait to see the next 4 episodes. It's outstanding.
There you go. There you go. We don't have to be Dallas Cowboys fans, but maybe we can check it out.
There's good shots of the Eagles in there, too.
There you
right.
go.
There you
go. All right, one last round for everybody to get their raffle tickets. We're going to draw somewhere around 8 o'clock-ish. You must be here or we'll move on. What else, Johnny? What else did we miss?
Not much at the moment.
I don't think so.
No, it was a great
Coach,
night.
you're an outstanding person.
Oh, thank you.
Don't
believe everything you
No,
hear.
the words just don't fit the person.
No.
Thank you. Thank you.
So-
I get to see my UPS driver. I tell you, you talk about work hard for a living. Just try to make a living drive one of those damn trucks. My
Wasn't there
God.
another UPS comment over here?
Yeah. Yeah.
What the hell's up with
It's
Brad?
We got
amazing how hard they work.
We got 3 of them in here. They're not working too hard. There's 3 of them in the
They're
restaurant
retired.
right now.
They're retired.
Well, the one's not.
All right, guys, gals, again, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you,
Yep.
thank you. We're back here next month.
Thank you everybody for being here. It's fun. It's fun to do. Thank you.
I'm not quite sure we can come close to this. So this was special. So enjoy the rest of your night and hang out with us. Thank you.
Thank you.